Spanky here. I was just going to address a few questions on this video. This is the second lesson for covered calls. We're going to take it easy this lesson, not do too much math, and just teach y'all a little bit about the strategy itself, different scenarios, how to actually operate option chains, how to buy, or write your call. I know that sometimes options can be confusing. They're even confusing to me sometimes, and you got to draw out the stuff and think about it for a second because it's a mind bender. You got which way is this going, which way is that going, what's the strike price, what's your blah 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 blah. But it's very simple, and once y'all see me do it several times, I think that y'all will be able to learn it through just watching me and learning from my mistakes, or just seeing how it operates and the whole idea of the strategy, because it's a complicated strategy. It's simple, but it's a little complicated just to understand why we're doing all this. And I'm going to throw some pretty hardcore stuff at you, but just if you can't understand it when I'm trying to teach it, look at another YouTube video. There's a ton of them out there, and they're probably better at teaching this than me. First off, I was going to address the different scenarios where you make money or lose money, and we don't know for sure, what is going to happen to our returns, because we don't know what's going to happen to the stock price. But the point of covered calls is it doesn't really matter that much what happens to the stock price, because we're picking great companies that last 100 years, or they're super stable. We're not picking Tesla. We're not picking Carnival Cruise Lines. We're not picking people who might go out of business or might lose 50, 60, 70% of their value. That's the reason I picked Ford. Is, they've been around a long time. They're cheap. They're only $11 right now. They might go down to $9. They might go down to $10. But they got stability even though they're cheap. So on scenario one, let's look at, this is also the worst case, the worst possible outcome of the four. Stock price goes down. Let's say Ford drops 10% over the quarter. Our quarterly return was 12.5%. Subtract out the stock price drop of 10%, you only got 2.5% gain. It looks bad right now, but remember, we're not selling it at a 10% loss, because we're holding this for years. We'd actually probably buy another block of shares, average it down, and move our strike price down, and keep going on with the scenario. But in 2 years, we won't even think about it went down this month, or this quarter 10%, because overall we're up 40% on the stock, and we've collected this premium 12.5% a quarter, roughly, for 8 quarters. So scenario two is kind of the scenario where it is right around 12.5%. The stock is flat. It doesn't move up or down, maybe 1 or 2%. You break even on the stock. You collect your premiums, and over time, it lowers your cost basis. Number three is the best case scenario. This is what we want it to do. This is the least complicated. We make the most money, and we don't lose any possibility in the stock price move. So we're going to talk about strike price next two. So I'm going to jump over to Robinhood real quick and show you what a strike price is, just so you clearly understand that. Over here on the left, where it says $12 call, 12.5 call, 13 call, Those are your strike prices. So let's go back to the scenario. The stock rises, but not above the strike price. We're going to gain on our stock, collect the premium, and move the strike. So let's go back over. Price is $11.66. We do the 12.5. We write the 12.5 call. We collect that $41 premium or $44, whatever it is when we do it. And the price moves up to, let's say, 12.25. We make a pretty decent profit. And on our stock, I'm not sure what it is. And then we collect our premium. The next chance, we're actually moving up, and we'll probably be selling a 13.5 call. The reason we move the strike is these probabilities. The where it says 76.11 right here on chance of profit, that is the we have a 76.1% chance that our option expires worthless. And when I say that, the option expiring worthless is good for us. That means we don't have to pay back any premium, and we don't lose our 100 shares. So as you move up, as you can see that chance of profit rises. The further away from the strike price you are, the less probability that share price will get to your strike price. And so you're rewarded smaller and smaller because you have a higher probability. You can go all the way up to 99% and get $1. Now I say $1, you got 100 shares, so you times whatever you see on the right side, 0.01 or the 0.41, you multiply that by 100 shares, and that's your premium, $41. All right, back to the next scenario. Is scenario 4. Scenario 4, the stock price rises, but it rises above your strike price. You make a gain on your stock, but it is limited. So let's say we got the 12.5 call. Stock price is 11.67. The stock price rises over that month to 12.75, and it ends. And what's going to happen is our shares of stock are going to go to the person on the other side of that bought our call option, and we're going to have to sell them at 12.5. But that person, they're worth 12.75, so they're going to make that difference, and that's kind of factored in to the premium, and it all works together. We'll get to more of that later on how all that works, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because we're getting the price we wanted. We're going into this saying, I'm willing to sell forward at 12.5 because I'm going to make almost a whole dollar per share. So I'm going to make $100 on that, even if we have to sell it. And it don't matter if it goes to 14. I don't care because I'm going to get that steady premium. Those are the 4 scenarios. Now we're going to kind of go into some of the mechanics behind ordering and the mechanics behind the option and why is it priced the way it is, what you do. So there are 2 main types of options, calls and puts. Calls are just like, well, they're very similar to buying stock where the share price goes up, you make money. Puts, the share price goes up, you lose money. So it's shorting a stock. The share price goes down, you make money. There are 2 sides of the options. You either can buy the option, which is long, or you can not long. You buy the option or you write the option. That's 2 sides of the contract. We're doing this one right here. These get too mind bending, so we're not really going to talk about those right now. But what you want to focus on is we're creating a contract for somebody else to have the option to buy our shares of stock at a certain time on a certain date. Everything's controlled about this contract, and guess who gets to pick all those terms in the contract? We do. All right, so the next thing, the bid-ask spread. You've probably seen this in stock trading. It's across all markets. It's common. It's part of the mechanics underneath, behind the scenes on the stock market and how prices work. The bid is the buy and the ask is the sell. Remember that. Bid, buy, ask, sell. B is in bid, B is in buy. That's a simple way to do it. Why am I telling you this? Because once we get to a real option chain outside of Robinhood, because Robinhood don't do it, but Weebly does, then you got to know this stuff. All right, we're at Ford in Weebly. We go to the options. This is the options chain. Sounds complicated, looks complicated. What are all these numbers? It's pretty simple. You just got to break it down. First off, we're going to look at, are we in calls or puts? We want calls. Single option. Here is a single option. These are all the different strategies of options. You can make money a lot of different ways with a lot of different factors that are changing. So you got to be careful what you're doing. You can get in trouble. All right. So you want to make sure, first off, what date is their expiration. You're looking on the left side here under strike. That isn't a strike. That's actually days till expiration. 0 day, 7 day, 14 day. We want the November 11th. And these are your strike prices on the left. And then you see the bid and the ask. Well, some brokerages, to buy the option, you click the bid number, and to sell the option, you click the ask number. On Weebly, it doesn't matter. We're going to go to 12.5 and see that it's 43.39. The actual price is somewhere in the middle. And then it pops up the order. You can still switch between buy and sell. And then you click sell, confirm, and that would it will only let you do it on certain accounts if you own the underlying shares. So that is how you buy an option in Weebly. If you got any questions, let me know. And what else we can talk about? I think we're going to call that quits. It's long enough video. The next part's going to get really boring, and it's going to get a little bit of math, but I might bring in some help from some other YouTube videos to explain this one. All right, guys, trade safe, have fun, see ya.